everyone. Welcome to another session of the Hot Takes panel. The space is designed for one thing, helping trainers build credibility through clarity of thought. Each trainer today will take a position, and the rest of the panel will help deepen that thinking through questions. This is not about being right or wrong. It's about being clear, thoughtful, and open to challenge. So let's get started. We have Dinesh Kapoor with us over here with a very, very interesting hot take panel topic. Over to you, Dinesh.
Thank you, Radhika. Good evening, and good evening to everyone. And glad for the very good introduction, firstly. But now I just like to have a, a question before I begin my topic. So I'd like to ask all of you a question that you don't have to answer aloud. So this is your question. You have to think it. Just go with that particular thing. That okay, this is the thing. So and you have to be very honest in answering that particular question. And the question is, what's one thing that you already know about yourself to improve? It can be anything. So just think of it. I'm giving you like 2, 3 seconds. And once you're ready, you can just do a thumbs up or something. All of you have done? Okay, great. So I will not ask you to reveal that. Keep it to yourself. But now let me ask another question for that. Any measurable steps or action that you have taken to improve that in the last 30 days? Yes or no, maybe like a thumbs up would say yes. And if you you haven't taken that any action for that improvement which you have thought of, so just an honest feedback, like
I would say somewhat.
somewhat. Okay.
Somewhat.
Yeah,
Uh,
same
the
same
rest of
with
the
me as
panelists.
well.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
I think I have sort of 70 to 80%. The trick that has popped in my mind and which I've applied is working. So,
Great.
yes.
That's any input from your side?
Yes, the same. I am working on it, but
You're
not
working.
achieve work on it.
That's perfectly all right. Like there's no, again, as Radhika told you, there's nothing right and wrong about it. So now I'll just introduce my topic. So what my hot take is: self-awareness without accountability creates excuses. So I've not asked you a third question because then you would have made those excuses because of this, because of that. It can be anything, and that is the topic. So we understand like what self-awareness is. It's a very, very common thing, right? And even my perspective is that I'm not against self-awareness. And self-awareness is what? It is creating knowledge. It is making you think about a particular topic, article, whatever the thing is. So you become more knowledgeable in that particular area. But have you ever thought of like attending a webinar, attending some good workshop, or so are we taking those things with us? Post that, are we doing those into or turning those into actionables? So who is accountable for that? Have you ever thought of on these lines? Like I have spent, or there is a free webinars rather sometimes. Very good speakers. Just listen to them. They are speaking wonderfully. Their presence on stage is very nice. But after the session is over, we are again like there are butterflies when we have to take the session. Doesn't it happen? It happens quite obviously, right? And it is very common to have that. But we have to break this pattern actually. So this is my point is like awareness can give you, or it's a building block that you remove first. and you start changing yourself. So it's the first step towards the change. On the other hand, accountability is something which sustains that change that you have made. So if we talk about that, so this is something which we have seen, and with my experience of 26 years in corporate and into different domains and everything, so I have seen that many high performers and very hard workers, they're not getting promoted, and more knowledgeable persons are there who are sitting there doing the same job, but they are not getting promoted. Why is it happening? You must have encountered people around you that they are in the same position, stuck. Many life coaches take these things. They are telling us to do this and those. Like present yourself, work on this, work on that. But are we really working on that? So that is some of the things which is a very common thing. And I can just tell you there is a scientific reason also about that. Like we become maybe there are steps that we don't follow. But I'm not going to scientific. It's very common thing. So let's take an. It's a very simple example. We all have done interviews, right? So sometime or the other, we have been into meetings, and there is a very common question from the HR. Tell me your weakness. Tell me about your weakness. So these are something that people prepare, like how to tell my weakness, and uh, people are very much aware. They're ready for that question. They said, I want to improve delegation, I want to improve communication, I want to improve my management, time management. But then the question is, what are we doing about it? We know that is the weakness, but what are we actually doing to come out of that? So that is self awareness is there. And I'm not denying that you should not be aware of yourself. This is a, like, I think even identifying your weakness is also one of the greatest skill that a person would have while doing a SWOT analysis. We do that, and that is something which keeps you moving. So when we are talking about this, people would say, I'm trying, I'm working on it, I'm improving, I'll do that, I'll do this. They are procrastinating sometimes. Maybe they're not find it interesting, and the results, they're not seeing those kind of improvements there. And that's where I would say that awareness meets accountability. So I'll just give you one example as well. Like what happened was, I worked in the corporate, so all of you know about that. So and there was a very strict compliance policy that you don't have to carry your mobile phones in the production area, and people are taking those phones no matter what. And it's not like they were not, the trainings are not happening. Trainings were happening, everything was green. Still, the cases were coming up. People know trainings are happening in person. There were a mandate trainings, there was a compliance checking. So everywhere it was there, but still people were just bringing the phones on the production area. And when asked why, by mistake, or I was expecting some call, that's why, and this and that. So we made some change out there. We started making people the accountability, or rather the compliance captain. So now, and it was for them that, okay, if you bring us any defaulters, you will be given some reward points which will be accumulated in the year. Now everyone becomes accountable for it. We didn't change, we didn't given more trainings on that. It's that mindset shift of being accountable. Okay, if I'll do that, maybe I'll get some bonus points. And I'm not in favor of like, okay, giving freebies and all those things to make them accountable for. Because after some time, what happens was everyone was self-aware as well as accountable that I don't have to do it. What if I get caught? Somebody else would get those bonus points, and I don't want the other one to win. And that is human nature, by the way. That we are not happy with our success. We are like more unhappy with other person's success. So that is how you manage those things. And a very simple, I would take it a very simple analogy coming out of the office and all those things. How many of you know that excess of screen time is bad? Just raise your hand if you know, like, okay, you can visually also raise the hand that, okay, excess of screen time is bad. Yes, everyone is saying that. Perfect. What are we doing about it? Before sleeping, it's like 5 minutes. Let's see what is there on my Insta story. What's the status? How many views? How many impressions of my LinkedIn post? And suddenly it happens, those 5 minutes are like you keep on scrolling and scrolling. And on the bed itself, it's like, if it's partners or even kids nowadays, so everyone, four people sitting, two people sitting, they're all busy in their mobiles. And what is happening? They're missing their sleep. The sleep time is being missed. That is compromised there. And when you ask, everyone agrees that yes, we have to deduct. And then they are going to pay for a digital detox class from a trainer. But then again, they'll come back and they'll ask for, can we have the recorded session for this, ma'am or sir? So why, when you're going for that session, then again you want to the screen time again, and you are compromising your health there. So self-awareness is a very good thing. You should do that. But what about accountability, and who is responsible for that? So that is the very important question here in my stand. Now you say, okay, there would be people who are aware and they are accountable, but is that imbibed there, or you have enforced that? That kind of accountability would not work. Like, if we cut the challans on every rule break, so everyone says the civic sense is not there. Who brings that civic sense? It is your accountability, right? If it's a red signal, you have to stop. But if you don't do that, so it has to be imbibed in the culture. And I alone or we alone could not do that. It is a mindset shift again, which has to be changed for that. Now, again, if we talk about all those things, you think with all these examples, questions, and there is a very common example, taking a gym membership. I'll be going tomorrow perfectly. Gym gear there, everything is there because you want to get fit. But then something is missing, the action. So awareness is not missing when you are self-aware, when you know what is happening around you. So I would not say that the knowledge is missing with all the people, grown-ups, even the kids nowadays. And it is what accountability has to come into picture, and it has to convert those intentions into behavior. That is something which is very important. And I would love to see those whatever points you have spoken in the beginning, right? 70%, 80%, 50% maybe. Agreed. No, no wrong, no right. But if I leave you on a note that what accountability means to you and what it answers for you, what exactly will you do and by when? Very simple, like a smart goal. Just give that accountability as a goal for yourself, and that'll be done. So I just want to bring this topic to an end with this strong note only, that you have to do this accountability as something which decides whether you want where you want to arrive, rather where to begin, because self awareness is something which tells you where to begin, which is a good thing, but accountability decides where you have to arrive, which is your final pit stop. And that's all from my side. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank
And
you. Yeah, thank you so much, Dinesh. I have a small query. I have come across people where they use self awareness as a justification for not changing. I have come across. So, how do you differentiate between self awareness, genuine self awareness, and that?
and that's very true, Radhika. This is mostly whenever you say that, okay, okay, you can see, I can take it with an example, right? A very simple example, which I've already taken, but you want to lose weight, right? You know that. Everyone knows that 3 points: your diet, exercise, and your lifestyle. These three things needs to be changed. But are we doing that? Are we are these awareness status are being translated into some kind of an action? So you have to ask it yourself. Nobody else will be gaining from that. So it's a self-assessment kind of a thing that we have to do for anything. Preparing for exams, how much marks, my future, my health. So you are getting the benefits. Nobody else is going to get the benefit. And using it as an excuse, I'll go to gym tomorrow. I'll do this thing maybe next week. So you have to take those bold steps forward, and then you have to move on, and you have to keep on asking. And it's a continuous cycle, I would say. It's not with one question, it won't stop, because you have started something, you will conclude something, and then there will be another round of question for self awareness. So you'll be having lots of questions and lots of awareness. I know about Russia-Ukraine war. Have we ever gone back to the history, like why it had started and when it had started? Have we done those RCAs for that? No, we don't do that. We should do that. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Pranay, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Radhika. Dinesh, wonderful session, and the topic, the way you started and ended it is absolutely fantastic. And the last takeaway, it's mind blowing, I would say. So, my question is most of the times, what happens is we are aware that we are self aware. Okay. Like most of the times, I am aware that, okay, so this is the point where I'm getting angry, or I'm aware that this is the point where I, trigger. But when the same situation happens, I am still aware that, okay, the same situation is again repeating, but I behave in the same way. This is, I mean, like I should change when it happens next time, but I'm also aware that I'm behaving the same way which I did the last time, whereas I shouldn't do. So here my question comes in this way, that how can we change that, or how do I need to change that, uh, where I'm being aware but still unable to act on it and bring that difference next time.
Okay. I think I got you, Pranay, what you're coming from, and that repeated actions being taken again and again. And I would simply say the answer is stop, pause, and play. So just reflect on your those thoughts that you have done, you're aware of. Just reflect on them and just pause at the moment. Don't just react, act. So that is
Act.
the takeaway, I would say, that act rather than react.
Yeah.
Just one
Perfect.
word, one alphabet is missing. Rest
Right.
everything is fine.
Right. Absolutely got it, Dinesh. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Pranay.
thank you so much, Pranay. Yeah, yes, Kalpana, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Radhika. All right, Dinesh. Here is my question to you. You told that the intentions can be turned into behavior. If I'm trying to change my intentions into behaviors, what will be the parameters? What do I compare it with? Um, what will be my, whether I should compare it on values or policies? And how do I actually know that I am heading towards the betterment of me with my self awareness?
Very nice question, Kalpana. And thank you for asking that, rather, I would say. And to answer it very clearly, I would say that just stand in front of mirror and see yourself, your reflection, and just ask your inner self what Kalpana wants to be. How should Kalpana would look like? And the answer is within you, that you have to realize. You are aware of it. It has to just come out of yourself. Your intentions, your behavior, it's all inside of us. So when we say it's a black and it's a white, it's gray somewhere as well, which we are not confident in coming out of it. So I hope I've answered this very
Yes,
simply,
you
but
have. You have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So here I would like to, add on to what Kalpana says. What if we take Kalpana's question, like you were saying that you ask, stand in front of a mirror and ask, and
Right.
then the moment we know your answer, and now imagine after that answer we have Pranay's question.
Mhm.
What if we are standing in front of the mirror and we are still doing it again and again and again every day? So, here basically, my question is, can accountability exist without self awareness?
No. Accountability cannot exist because first step that you have to climb on that stair to achieve your destination for that, maybe the journey rather, I would say. So you have to be first self-aware. Then only, like, I'm not good in communications per se. So I'm aware that I'm not good at communication. And I'll compare, I'll listen to other people how they are communicating. I'll bring my own self and see that whether I can do it or not. And I'll just stop there. I'll not deliver communication session to anybody or this. So that is my observing, that is my reflection, the pause part which is coming because I'm not reacting at that time. And what I want to become, there are some role models which I see. I see Tony Robbins, so I get inspired the way he speaks, the way he engages. But that realization has to come from within. But yes, accountability cannot. So if we give you only accountability and no self awareness, that is also a problem. If I give you authority without accountability, that is also a problem. So
So,
accountability is
I'm sorry I'm cutting you. This seems very interesting currently. So, my thing is, if someone isn't aware of their blind spots, how can they
right.
truly be accountable? Because the people genuinely are not aware. I mean, they're not aware of their blind spots.
So blind spots generally for that, Radhika, it's when you talk with people, right? So they will notice that. And I don't know about you, but when I communicate with people, their reactions, their non-verbal communication, those cues are there that tells you whether the person is interested or just present there. So that is how I come to know about my weakness, that this is something is there. Like in school you have a grading system, but once you grow up, you are into a profession, then that even I don't believe that in offices that annual appraisal happens. So at that time they used to do 101, but what about the 364 days when the person was there and nobody came up with those kind of feedback? So take those feedback positively. And for me, no feedback is positive or negative, I would say constructive feedback. And I advocate every time feedback is not a feedback, it's a feed forward, because every feedback moves you a step forward. I hope this answers your query.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Satya.
Thank you, Dinesh. Actually, a nice topic. Self awareness without accountability creates excuses. Just one question. Already, one is self aware, and the people just like me who is very emotional and sensitive, already self aware. Over that, if we are putting the pressure of accountability, it leads to frustration. If I am not a very strong soul, weak soul.
So, Satya, I think in your question, there are two things which are being involved. You are being emotional, and you are also self-aware that you are emotional. So you have this realization by yourself, and you have to overcome that. You want to overcome that, or you want to get frustrated because of that. So either you take an action to overcome that behavior and you come out as a success, or otherwise you will be getting into a depression zone or zoned out in yourself. So rather than reacting, that is what I said to Pranay also. Don't react, don't get frustrated. Take it as a challenge and just rebounce yourself.
Oh, good.
So I
Nice
hope
answer.
I answered your question.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Pranay, please
Yeah, Pranay,
continue.
you have anything?
Yeah, so no, I just wanted to give one word for Dinesh, where I really liked that. word. It's not feedback, it's feed forward. Truly, I would say it's a thoughtful word, I would say. When Radhika asked about how would one understand when they are not aware about their loopholes, right? So that feedback, it's not feedback, it's feed forward, because that's where the person can push themselves. Great one, Dinesh.
We will call it feed Hajmola.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
A
Alternative.
proper digestive.
Yes, it should be
Fantastic,
digested
Dinesh.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. That was indeed wonderful. It was a very very interesting conversation today.
Radhika, we lost you, Radhika.
I am having a problem putting this down. I keep forgetting that. I'm so sorry. So yes, thank you so much, Dinesh. It was wonderful. The questions were indeed very intriguing. So
Mm.
yes, so today's thank you so much, and audience to you. Today's conversations showed us something very very important. When trainers think deeply, they don't just deliver sessions better, they influence better. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dinesh, who spoke, questioned, and listened with intent. Let's continue building this level of depth in everything we do. Thank you so much. Yes. With this, we come to an
Thank you so
end
much,
of
Radhika.
today's
Thank you,
hot
everyone.
take panel. Over. See you in the next session.